right, if you just joined us or you're still with us, this is still Enterprise Morning, and we're reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our conversation. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday reshuffled his ministerial cabinet and merged two ministries into one. Presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga said in a statement that the decision was made during the Federal Executive Council meeting.
About a month ago, Onanuga had announced an immediate cabinet reshuffle, which came through on Wednesday with the announcement that the president dissolved the Niger Delta Ministry and the Ministry of Sports Development.
Additionally, Tinubu approved the merger of the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy.
In Abuja and elsewhere, the talk around town has been that of the power games that led to some ministers losing their jobs and the ones who stayed on.
Plus, if you care enough to ask, by what yardstick did Mr. President exactly exercise the discretion of who to fire and who to retain? The president had been under intense pressure to reshuffle his cabinet following the argument that some of the ministers had not been performing, or even more, for the many IOUs from the election season.
Addressing a press conference in the State House in Abuja in September, the president's spokesman Bayo Onanuga expressed concern that Nigerians remained unaware of the administration's achievements, despite what he described as significant efforts.
Beautiful.
And we've got with us in the House to do justice and give us both legal and sociological perspective on this particular issue. First of all, from my right, I'll have Prince Kenneth Ikenwa the first. He is a lecturer in public administration at the University of Lagos. So this is home turf, obviously, for him. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Kenneth. Yes,
thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for giving us your time. And we still have in the studios with us Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for hanging on.
Thank you, Barrister.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's have our conversation now. And the reshuffle is here and it's done. And a little bit of shake-off here and there. Of course, Nigerians expected this. It's not new, you know, given the level at which our economy is on right now. But I'd love to start with you, Kenneth, and you speak to us on this particular issue. Is this the change, the reshuffling, is that the crux of the matter here? Is it the reason an average Nigerian is complaining and saying things are difficult? Is this really what we should be talking about now?
All right, let me first start by congratulating the presidency, then congratulating the president for having the boldness, the courage, and I must say the audacity, you know, to embark on this initiative. Coming back to your question, the question and the crux of the matter centered around whether or not this is what is needed to rejig and reboot the economy.
Beautiful.
And whether this actually plays to the yearnings of the common man and, you know, the average over 80% of Nigerians that are practically living in multidimensional poverty now. Well, it's a mix of both. But one thing that must be said and said very clearly is that we have gotten to the point now where we have to separate politics and governance. So I think the presidency and the president has woken up to the fact that there's no more time for politics. There's no more time to appoint people on the basis of playing to your base, on the basis of, okay, who is going to represent, you know, which and who contributed to him being there. Let's face the facts. Let's look at, and I've already said that the cost of governance and the burden of governance in Nigeria has been very large. But it also boils down to the need to look at the architecture, you know, of the present cabinet, of the present governance mechanism, and ask ourselves, is this efficient enough? Is this effective? Are we where we are supposed to be? And where do we want to be? And how do we get there? Governance for me is like, you know, football, as it were. And if a team is not performing well, the body is on the coach to actually look at, you know, who and who is not performing well and substitute, you know, those people and bring in hopefully better replacements. But I also dare to say that I'm not satisfied with this component, you know, and these people that are brought on board, or should I say I'm not satisfied with the fact that we did not have enough people removed from the cabinet. I think we should have had a total reshuffle and a total overhaul. I expect to see younger people, more vibrant people, people that have represented Nigeria on the world stage and that are still representing Nigeria on the world stage, so that we can take Nigeria back to where we ought to have been some 40 years ago.
Thank you, Ikenwa. Sorry, Ikenwa. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, I want to actually say, I want to quote it here before I ask my question. You said the move comes amid increasing demands to streamline government structures and reduce the expenses associated with maintaining numerous ministries and political positions. Now, this is one of the reasons why they had to do the reshuffle and to let some ministers go. But from 6, they now have 7. Can we say we are actually cutting expenses, or we're actually increasing the budget at this point?
You have answered the question. 6 to 7. That is not. There is no any cutting of budget here. In fact, we are doing the same thing the same way, and we are expecting a different result. In fact, I see this new cabinet change or resolve or whatever you call it, disengagement of certain people. Or I want to use the word, the adjective used by Bayo. He said they were not sacked; they were just disengaged or discharged. They were discharged.
Yeah.
So whether they are
semantics.
whether they are discharged, whether they are sacked, they are no longer in the cabinet. But the point is that the act run contrary to what is in the book. The book says to ensure efficiency and reduction in cost of it. This is not a reduction in cost. In fact, they are adding more cost because they had. And for me, I am not a believer in any of this change they are doing in terms of a minister change or whatever change. If you like, change the entire cabinet, as long as certain member of the cabinet are not changed, as long as the policies of this president is not changed, as long as the attitude of the president and his cabinet members are not changed, you bring the best economists in the world, bring the best financial guru in the world, it will still be where we are. Because why are we having problems? It's not because these ministers, although, like I said, some of them are not showing any readiness to work, or they are not even showing that they know why they are in the cabinet. Not only 5 of them, majority of them, in fact 90% of them, or even more than 90%. But unfortunately, you know, the criteria to appoint you as to get a position in this country is not only about the merits. It's about one of them is politics. Can you bring forth? And that is why you see the likes of Matawali, Bagudu is occupying sensitive position. Matawali is also occupying sensitive position that can change certain things in our country. Matawali is in security. The security is one of the major problems in this country. And we're having a minister that has been alleged of being compromised with those who are committing the crime, and you are still retaining him. It's not removed because he can deliver votes, and that's a consideration. Bagudu is not also removed. You got policy. That's the one in charge of policy, planning and policy, or whatever. Is that not the one in charge of planning and policy? Yes. Those are the areas that can move up to where we are from for now to El Dorado, to a positive ends. They are not doing anything. They are not being removed. You know why? He can bring the votes. While you are doing Alake and some other major people, I'm picking people who are in the position that can change our system, the policy we are talking about here. Because while the finance minister play a very vital role in how our economy will move, and the policy that would drive our economy, it cannot be removed. There are some of them who are bigger because they are close, or they are the close ally or connected with the president. So whether or not they are doing well, they will still be retained. And that's why you see Wale Edun, Alake, the former governor of Osun State, the blue economy. Look at the area, and they are occupying key areas that can change our economy for good. And they are not doing well. And you are still, and they can't be removed because they are seen as part of the president, and they must be there. They determine what happens. So, but for me, even if you would change all these people, and this policy of that we are operating now, subsidy is gone. Even though we are paying subsidy, times 3 of what is being paid before now. FX devaluation of naira that's not backed up by anything that will make up for it. Spending money buying private jets for the president buying yacht, building house for the vice president with 20-something billion, car parks for the National Assembly, billions of naira, buying SUV for the first lady, obviously the first lady that is not known, buying SUV for the ministers or whatever, for the National Assembly members. There is nothing. If you like I said again, change the entire cabinet. If you continue with those policies and those attitudes, that will change.
All right.
So I'm not surprised. This change is just to answer the yearnings to an extent, or to play to the gallery. Where based on the talk in the town regarding people expecting that what is the Minister of Power still doing? What is the Minister of Petroleum, Gas and State, whatever, the two of them? I don't even know the other one. Agriculture, what is he doing? So, the majority of them are nowhere to be found. And that Musawa has been given another responsibility now, more of that. So, majority of them are not seen. The only few people they say not to me, that they say they are performing. Olubunmi Ojo. Aside from the passport policy that they say he did well, tell me, since what else has he done again? Or is that the only thing that we'll sit on top and start and be doing? Wike going from one place to another crisis and talking to people as if he's a headmaster, talking to his servants. And Dave Umar is nowhere to be found. He started a while. No, when he started his initial Diagra. And today now, you don't hear him again. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, our problem is not about the people. I'm not saying they are not also problem. But if you don't have an enabling environment, it's like us here. It's like it's like saying we have a car that is not moving well because of 14 engine. You now say well, let's change the tire. Let's repaint it. Then you think that car will move. It's like us saying we want to in the studio now. There is no good camera, and you want and bring the best presenter or whoever in the world or cameraman in the world to do. Your quality will still be low.
Definitely, very, very true.
So that is the point I'm talking.
Yeah, Kenneth, I'd love you to speak to us on this particular fact. He spoke about playing to the gallery of the president, and but most importantly, the recency bias syndrome of Nigerians, where they forget about the past and concentrate in the future. It's been a very big problem, but particularly while we're going through our newspaper headlines, there's a story here. Obasanjo Danjuma decried dwindling quality of leadership in Nigeria, and that speaks to everything we are talking about here. Barrister did say it. 90% of the ministers are nowhere to be found. Now, speak to us on this particular issue. What do you think is happening to the political class, but most importantly, Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
All right, I must commend the audacity and the courage of the barrister that we will have dropped a good number of names, with respect to members of this cabinet that have actually performed extremely below average. Now, it will interest you to know that on Monday, I didn't even have a premonition that there was going to be a cabinet reshuffle as early as Wednesday. I was with an 86-year-old woman and another 80-year-old woman, and we were discussing this issue about the problems of Nigeria. You can see the generational gap. And I did mention, and I said emphatically, that if you look at the cabinet compared to when I was a boy, it's easy to identify about 10 people. You remember those days when we were common entrance? You have to. Minister of Sport, Minister of Defense, Minister of Water Resources. Now, at my age, at almost 50, I can't in this cabinet, compared to even the Buhari administration, count 10 ministers on the tip of these 10 fingers to tell you that I can say I know 10 ministers. Sadly, and this must not be heard. I don't know how I can shut the camera so that the world can hear this. I don't even know the name of my own boss, who now has been sacked. The Minister of Education. That tells you how unpopular, not just this, foot soldiers are with the Nigerian public and populace, but how also technically unpopular this government is gradually becoming. Now let's come back to the crux, to the strategic aspect of your question. What the quality of leadership in Nigeria? It brings me back to what the popular citizen Jones will say, and it's quite a popular saying, that a followership would usually deserve the leadership that they get. Even though I disagree with that theory. And he says, and the popular saying is that it is from the same set of followership that this crop of leaders actually emerge. So the quality of leadership cannot, in terms of correlation, be far from the viewpoints, the philosophy of the followership. What is the philosophy of followership in Nigeria? What is the philosophy of, what is our political culture? Our political culture is domiciled against or around the weaponization of hunger and poverty. Now, until we have a population, hunger, poverty, and literacy, technical illiteracy, until we have a population where people are enterprising in their thoughts, where people can think and realize that I'm voting for Barrister on the basis of pedigree, not on the basis of tribe, not on the basis of he is from my village, not on the basis of it is our turn to rule. I'm voting for him on the basis of pedigree. I'm voting for him on the basis of the fact that he has a superior argument. He's coming to power, proposing superior policies that will emancipate the living conditions of our people, of my people, and like you said, of my unborn children and grandchildren. We will never get it right. And so I bring, to the court of public opinion. I mean, these leaders that are now decrying this, what did they do in their own time? My father's friend, General Obasanjo, surprisingly, conducted one of the worst elections in the history of Nigeria in 2007, where dead people like Muhammad Ali or people like Mike Tyson from America were seen on ballot boxes. We can't forget. And I was bold enough to say there was something wrong with that election. So this blame game that we're playing in Nigeria is not what we need now. We need to arrange ourselves and sit and have a table where we can rediscuss, where we can over-discuss, where we can actually emphasize. Where are we now? Where should we be? What is the way forward? How do we ensure that the over 200 million of us and those that are not of us, who are also among us, can actually benefit from the Commonwealth of Nigeria? Until we open up conversations on this, what we'll keep doing, in the words of Barrister, is playing to the gallery. And what we'll keep doing now that we're saying is a presidency, is a leadership that will keep playing to their political base. So it brings us to the first thing I said. Are we transiting from politics to governance? The question still remains, or the answer to that question remains no. Despite this cabinet reshuffle, sacking 5 ministers is not enough. And adding more, like Choma said, even begs the question whether this was cost effective or not. So we are reinforcing inefficiency, we are reinforcing obsolescence, we are reinforcing leadership lag. We are not showing the example. The example of leadership is not what we are seeing in this country, and we still have a long way to go.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kenneth. Barrister Tunji, can we say the presidency is reinforcing ineffectiveness? I want to quote him now, and he says, when he was addressing them during the FEC meeting, he said, if you're performing, not interfere. If you miss the objective, we will review. If no performance, you would leave us. Will this make the ministers that have been appointed sit up? I want to change the narrative and not show ineffectiveness. I want to show and prove that they are different from the rest with this particular statement from the president.
When you don't follow what you say, you don't see people being afraid of that, because the president did not. If we are going by what the president has said, like I said, so many ministers have to have gone. Oyetola, the former governor for Osun State, it's Tinubu's the president's junior brother, younger brother. So and he's occupying a major.
Do we have DNA evidence to?
It's not a secret. It's not a secret. Yeah.
I want to speak to the fact.
It's a fact, and it's not been denied all this while. So if they want to deny it, they can deny it. There is a choice. What I will do is just to apologize and withdraw it. That's all. So what I'm saying is that, look, you promised us that you select few. Some certain people are seen as above the law. Certain people are seen as above the whatever punishment you are bringing. I have mentioned names of people that I don't even. In fact, one of those that was sacked yesterday, Mr. Agric or something. In fact, that was the first time I'm hearing his name as a minister. Seriously speaking, and if you also look at those that have been sacked, these are the people who don't have that pedigree in terms of political sagacity to be able to hold President Penny ransom. Those who have that political sagacity are still being retained, whether perform or not. So it's not about performance. I've said it. It's not about those are just mere scripts. The yardstick is not about performance. It's about your loyalty. It's about your political class. It's about your capacity to deliver votes during the election. It's about where you come from sometimes. It's about people who nominated you. It's about people who are backing you. Are you aware that it's said publicly, he even admitted that this one I have my video evidence, that the Minister of is it petroleum now, gas, Lukobiri, or what is it?
Yeah, Heineken.
He confirmed it that he got the position of the minister because of Wike. So it's not about, like I said, it's where you align with. If you align with people with political weight, whether you are doing well or not, you'll not be removed. Those that have been removed are people you see that they are featherweight. They may not have any major effect on us. So for me, it is not proper punishment that are not being applied, and it's not being applied equally or without fear or favor. Certain people are given privilege, and other people are seen as whatever happened, they are part of this.
Okay,
and they cannot be touched.
So the caucus remains.
They cannot be touched, whether they are doing well or not. Because if you ask anybody, the problem, finance minister, is whatever you got it wrong, once it's wrong from that angle, the budgeting and planning, once it's wrong, there's no way you can get it. And that's why I say, if you like, go and bring what's it called, to come ahead our IT communication ministry, who is Shakeup or whoever is in the name, to come, they will fail because the environment is not enabled. The system is not working, so you cannot expect anybody to come and do any miracle. And that's not to say, and again, worst part, you now brought people who don't even know their right from left. I know the Minister of Education very well. He was my HOD. He was my dean. He was when I left the school, he was the HOD. Sorry, he was HOD when I left. Later he became a VC. He became a DG law school. Yeah. And all those things. He has gotten the opportunity, but I know him. I don't want to say. I know his capacity. I know what he can do. I know the kind of person he is. I know his mentality, and that's why he's putting himself in that trouble. He allows that thinking to follow him to that position. So for me, the president is not doing the right thing. The president himself needs to check himself, and that's the point I'm making. Since it's not about the minister, the president must check himself. He must review his policies. He must review it, or he must go by his promises that I'll bring it down. Or as long as it's going up, people will not feel the impact, no matter how good you are as a minister. If the president said it, I will bring it down. It's okay. We're taking it up. We're not bringing it down. And president is happy about it. For me, the president is the major issue here, not the minister. The ministers are only helping the president to achieve his games or plans. So if you are not planning well, there is no way the players will play well. When there is no proper planning from the coach, the player will not do well. So the coach must do a proper planning so that players will know where and where to play. And whenever they are playing, the result will show. If there is no proper planning, no matter how hard working the players are, the result will not come out.
Thank you, Mr. Tinubu. Mr. Ikenwan, now I want to ask you, at this point where the ministers are by loyalists and who knows who, and the godfather reason is actually swearing into the minister's cabinet, where does this leave us? This is just, let me say, approximately 2 years of the sitting administration. Where do we find ourselves as citizens or as Nigerians in the coming 3 years?
All right. Within the spectrum of management and sociology, there are two things or three things we must highlight here. And first is tokenism. The second one is paternalism, and the third thing we talk about is the Peters principle. And I want to start from the third thing. Okay. What is the Peters principle? Right. The Peters principle states that people get to a point where they are promoted beyond their level of competence. And so what we have seen so far, in the evolution of Nigeria and the evolution of this period in our political trajectory, is that we are getting people into places of power, into places, where they can be movers and shakers, take decisions, make intelligent decisions. And people people that should give direction, proper direction to steer the ship of the economy, steer the ship of the country. These people have been put in these positions and they do not particularly have the competence. And with competence comes whether or not they can deliver the competitive advantage that we need, all right, the corporate advantage that we need to take enterprises and to take the economy and the country to where it's supposed to be. So I boldly say that we're going to be having a problem of Peter's principle in this administration, because so many people that are supposed to have been retired, so many people that are out there, so many professors, so many scholars that should be a part of this government are not given the opportunity, at least to contribute for the sake of being Nigerian. We come back to the question of tokenism. What is tokenism? Tokenism is actually, putting people in places just to represent a particular, sector of the society, or, okay, you are making a woman director general because we want to see that women are in power, or you are promoting somebody from a particular part of the country because people from that part of the country are not represented enough. So you give tokens. And well, in the quagmire, economic quagmire, we found ourselves as a country. This is not the time for us to be patronizing people on basis of tokens. So many people have gotten into these positions, like Barrister rightly said, I also rightly said, that we don't even know, that we can't vouch for the level of competence, but because they are representing a particular interest or section of the country, they have become tokenistic and they cannot definitely perform.
So what you're saying is federal character should be thrown down the drain.
At a point in time, the leadership should determine whether federal character is what will take us and build the character we need as a nation, all right, to take us and sail through the murky waters. At a point in time, federal character can be everything. If you are better than me for a particular position, why should somebody consider me because I'm from a particular place, tokenism, and neglect you because people from your area have been overrepresented in that area? It shouldn't work like that. It's not done like that in America. It's not done like that in advanced countries. We should emphasize at this point in time character, indeed, but competence above every other thing. And until we get to that point, we will still be at the backwaters of the Committee of Nations. In fact, the federal character itself, in principle, is one of the problems we have in this country. Whilst I agree that we should, be all inclusive in governance, but we should, at this point in time, emphasize competence.
All right. So,
I want to, with respect, disagree to an extent.
Okay.
With my guy here. Federal character is not the problem.
Okay.
It's the implementation of the federal character that is the problem. There is no country, there is no state, there's no state, there is no local government that wherever you will not see anybody that is capable to occupy the position you are looking for. Those who are capable are not domiciled in one particular area. They are spread across. So if you genuinely look at people who can do it, who will get it, and federal character will not be a problem. Just like when they were telling us that time, subsidies are a problem. Subsidies are a problem. I've always been Lone Ranger. I've always been one of those who are always seen as you are always attacking opposition. You are just, I said at that time that subsidy is not our problem. Our problem is the corruption and lack of transparency and accountability in the subsidy. What are we seeing today? That time they were being told subsidy is not benefiting us. It's only benefiting the few. Now we know that we are all benefiting from subsidy. Because when there was subsidy, when we have subsidy, fare was just like less than 200 naira. Now that there is no subsidy, we are buying fuel at 1,000. So these policies sometimes are not the problem. The implementation of the policy without fear, without adequate, with bias. When we implement policy with bias, we'll get this kind of result. And that biasness is what they are supposed to remove. The way they appoint minister, by law, by section 247 or so of the Constitution, the minister and the president has the power to appoint the ministers. And each state must have one. So there's no way you can remove it. Each state must have one. And that state, the president not being he cannot know everybody in all states. So they give, in a state where you have governor, the governor has the privilege to nominate. Where you don't have the governor, the political leader in that state will be consulted. Or if except the president has interest, like in my state now, the Attorney General is from my state. But I'm very sure it wasn't the governor that nominated him. It was the president on his own.
So if we say federal character is not the problem, we need to revisit the process through which we actually get, people nominated into.
No, you see, the problem we have always been having this.
Because if a governor is given the responsibility to actually nominate an individual, that process itself is skewed.
Yeah, I know. There's no that way. Somebody must nominate and somebody must recommend you.
With due respect,
somebody must nominate and somebody must recommend you.
I think we should get to a point where we start producing leaders that are prepared for office.
Yes.
We have a president. That took almost 6 months to put a cabinet together.
Yes.
Does that show any degree of preparedness? So we have individuals in this country that are just overtly ambitious to be there, but not prepared to be there. Not understanding the mission that it takes for you to be there.
Yes. Like I said, you see, giving the governors or whoever the privilege to nominate does not say that that governor should just nominate anybody. It is not. I agree with you that we should scrutinize the process.
I'm elected president of this country.
If you are,
I will not wait for you, barrister, to nominate anybody.
Who are who?
How do you know? After I win the election, I already know the people that.
How do you know everybody?
How do you know everybody?
Yes,
you should be on your team.
Yeah, you'll be on your team.
You should know your team.
You want to be your team.
You should have a vision.
People who are close to you. That means you are not.
That's why I'm waiting for
people who are closer to you. People that you can see. You won't see another person apart from people you know. And that's what the president is doing. If you are saying that we're not okay, then we're not justified to condemn it, because the president is appointing people that they call Lagos boys, because they have been with him for long. So, and he doesn't want to go beyond that. The president, former president Buhari, said it, that I can only appoint people I know. I will criticize him for appointing only people from his side. So for me, what I'm saying is that the kind of people we elect as governors, the kind of people we elect as presidents, the kind of people we elect as leaders, yes, I agree with that. That's why I agree to that extent. That we need to do more in terms of bringing people who will know that can do the job. I know some governors who don't even know have the capacity to do anything. They don't even know people in their states.
And we have governors who don't even live in their states.
Majority of them. You see, for instance, and I said it that time, that one of the criteria for you to be a minister or to get appointment is for your loyalty. Right. So once you are loyal to the governor, or whether you are qualified or not, you will be considered above that person who is more qualified than you, that is not seen as loyal. So, and I've said it, the problem is not the policy itself, it's the implementation of the policy. And that's why we're having a problem with our constitution. When people talk about constitution is the problem. It is not the constitution itself, it is the people that are sharing the responsibility of implementing the constitution that are the problem.
Thank you,
we don't do the right thing and we expect the right results.
Thank you.
Unless we do the right thing, that's when we get the right result.
Okay,
very, very true. And of course, just like John C. Maxwell would say, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And if this is lacking, I want to believe there's no leadership in such an individual. Some Nigerians will question why create the Ministry of Livestock while we have the Ministry of Agriculture. You know, so imagine some demography of Nigerians saying
satisfy the needs of certain people.
Exactly. Imagine some demography.
And that's paternizing.
Yes.
I'll tell you that's
paternizing.
There's politics, is loyalty, and some other ethnic sentiments. Those are the issues. Because people like the wife of the former leader of the South, Ojukwu.
Yes, Bianca.
He was giving that position just to assuage the feelings of certain people from the area.
That's tokenism.
Yeah, very true.
That's our problem.
That's tokenism.
Very true.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, it's okay. It's very fine. You know, this is just a very big issue. Some Nigerians would say, okay, I think it's time we need to create a ministry of spare parts. Since it is now becoming, you know, every part of our lives should have a ministry, and that's so very unfortunate. But of course, that is our discussion and conversation today. We'd love to say thank you so very much, Kenneth, for being part of our show. We truly do appreciate your time. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid.
Thank you.
Thank you as always.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Joma.
Thank you, Harry.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, people, that's just about the time we have for our show today. I want to truly believe you enjoyed it just like we equally did right here in our studios. But please do well to follow up. See us, visit us if you may. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwibike.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
On behalf of the Backroom Boys, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.